Yes, sir, thank you. I want to do my best to project tonight. I'm not sure if these microphones are working as well, but we've got some wire mics on behind us, so that should help a little bit during this evening. We have one zone detention appeal tonight to the Luca family. If you want to vote Mr. Luca, please. They are requesting a zone detention for their middle school child who is a rising seventh grader coming out of Murfreesboro City Schools to attend Rockville Middle School instead of Blackman Middle School. Rockville Middle School is at capacity, which is why it's been denied. And in addition, we have a lot of families in this situation where they have the zones kind of crisscross somewhat. One may be at a Blackman school or a Christiana school that's zoned for Rockville. And so we've been unable to approve this exemption because there are so many similar situations. But Mr. Luca, feel free to let the board know your situation and they may ask some questions.
Sure. Firstly, thank you for hearing my appeal tonight. We were on vacation and not able to make the actual zone appeal meeting. But as Mr. Evans said, this is in regards to my son. He will be in 7th grade. He attended Scales Elementary, will attend Blackman Middle, and then Rockville High School. And when the zoning started changing, and I understand that zones change and communities grow, and so we have to make adjustments. But I did attend several of the zoning hearings last year in 2019 because the zoning changes were affecting us. We live in Scottish Glen, and we were zoned before the changes to Rockville Elementary or Scales Elementary, Blackman Middle, and then Blackman High. I attended the meetings because it was going to change us from Blackman High School to Rockville High School, while the elementary and middle school zoning remained the same. I strongly believe that cluster schools were created for a good reason, and having children in a cluster helps them to grow and thrive throughout their school years. Last year, I actually submitted a zone waiver for our daughter as she was going into 8th grade, and that was denied, and I knew there were lots and lots of disgruntled parents because I had been at the zoning meetings, so I didn't go through the appeal process because I knew my complaint was very small and compared to many others. But looking at the upcoming school year, we face the same issue with our son. He attended Scales, like I said, and every child is different, and we're really pushing for the zone waiver for him. Socially, it's different. My daughter can make friends with anybody, anywhere she goes. She's super outgoing, but my son is not the same. And I think it will be a tougher transition for him to leave all of his friends at Scales Elementary, and 90% of those kids are zoned for Rockville Middle, move to Blackman Middle, and then have to transition again for high school. We also want to be able to support our children, the teachers and staff, and having both of our children in the same school zone will make this much more manageable. We want to be able to support both of our children equally in their school functions and after-school activities. With 2 parents that work full-time, having our children spread into 2 different school zones makes it very challenging. We would also like Paul to be able to ride to and from school with his sister when she begins driving. So I just ask that you take our zone waiver into consideration for these reasons. Like Mr. Evans said, I do realize that we're not the only people, but our neighborhood is just it's just one little circle off of 96. And I think that cluster schools are a good thing for kids to grow up with the same kids and be able to transition, but our past doesn't matter. But we moved here from Texas, so this isn't the first time we've changed schools or had to make transitions for them. So I just want what's best for our son.
Any questions?
Mr. Chairman, I have a question for you. So you have a 9th grader this year. We'll have a 9th grader at Rockville High.
Yes, ma'am.
And a 7th grader that you're asking to go into Rockville Middle.
Yes,
And so you will be providing transportation.
that is correct.
And I think the thing for me is that we're in a unique season where a lot of our families are choosing virtual. I don't know what our virtual numbers are or our distance learning numbers are. I personally share in your hardship. We had a similar situation as a parent. So is Rockville Middle School, even in where we are today, are they overcrowded with the reported numbers?
We've had several similar situations in the school.
And I understand, I don't want to be in any of your seats with the current world events and the chaos that we're facing, but I do think that there will be, a fair amount of parents and families that choose remote learning and or homeschooling, so maybe that will open up some capacity for transfer students. I know that's uncertain at this point, you know, you don't have hard numbers. Yeah.
Anyone else?
Mr. Chairman, yeah, and I concur with Ms. Johnson's thought. I mean, I can understand the dilemma and the concern here. How close to capacity are we at Blackman Middle, or is it?
Blackman Middle's approximately,
We're about 1,600 students there, with a capacity of about 1,605. So we're
Pretty close there as well.
absolutely.
I know we had zoning back when we went through this rezoning. I know there were a lot of families that were struggling with pretty much the exact same scenario. And I'm assuming, are there any, I guess my question is, are there any exemption requests like this that we've granted for this reason? Because, you know, this is to me, kind of a transportation hardship.
for the sole reason, it might be like an employee, for example, or someone has a comment on home, like that, just for their one policy. We do provide transportation for the school's zone.
Right.
So, you know, that's in place as well.
Anyone else? We have a motion?
I'll be the bad guy, Mr. Chairman, I guess. And Mr. Luke, well, I guess I'll apologize. I want you to know, and I think you already know this, that if we approve this, and this board can do exactly as it wishes, but if we approve this, the number of people that would have pretty much exactly like you have, the line would stretch out to the street. And we've already fought this numerous times with transportation problems, sibling problems, and capacity problems. And I think it's fair to say that maybe we didn't, but I think we did. We pretty much denied them all. And I'm sorry that you're going to have to go through the at least 2 years, looks like, of 2 different schools. But, Mr. Chairman, I'm going to make a motion that we deny the request.
Thank you, Mr. Jordan. Have a second?
Second.
Thank you. Ms. Hopkins, call the roll.
Ms. Johnson? No. Mr. Young?
Yes.
Ms. Moore?
No.
Mr. Jordan?
Yes.
Mr. Hodge?
Good.
Ms. Sharp?
No.
Mr. Estes?
Yes.
Thank you.
Mr. Chairman, that's all that we have on the agenda, like the zoning appeals.
Thank you. Now we're going 5:30 meeting, so we got 20 minutes. Welcome, take a break.
So we're going to adjourn this meeting and then start policy session.
Yeah.